This fox has been following me around on this hike all morning. Look at this guy. Good morning from St. John's, Newfoundland. I actually didn't intend to be here. The plan was to be in a completely different part of Newfoundland these last couple days, but that's a long story for another day. I'm here, and while I've been here, one thing that's really stood out to me is the colorful houses. All of the houses by the street downtown, the buildings by the waterfront, they're all different colors and really vibrantly painted. This is not exclusive to St. John's. You'll find different variations of colorful houses in Iceland and South Africa and the Greek islands. Even back home in South Carolina, we have Charleston, which has some famous areas with bright, colorful houses. But why? I like them, they're really pretty, but what's the point of having colorful buildings in these certain places? I had nothing better to do last night, so I stayed up until 2 a.m. in my hotel room just reading about all of the different reasons the different places have these colorful buildings. And I wanted to go photograph some today and share that with you. Also, my apologies if this video seems a little rushed. It is. First, I do want to give a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, which is my good pals over at Epidemic Sound. And if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, then you'll know that Epidemic Sound and we go way back. We've done several really fun projects together, and they've been my source for all of my sound effects for several years now. One of the main reasons for that is that their library is huge, 90,000 sound effects huge, and a lot of the time you'll find a single sound with dozens of different versions. You can find exactly what you're looking for. I use their sound effects to add atmosphere to my footage, to give character to my graphics and animations, and also to find all of those random little sounds that you just need as an editor, like zippers and footsteps. No matter what obscure sound effect I'm looking for, this is where I go. And it's not just sound effects, they also have a giant library of music as well. And for the record, you're not gonna get a copyright strike on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. No matter where you're posting your work, you're good. If you want to try it out for yourself, there's a link in the description of this video where you can get a free trial of either a personal or commercial plan, and you can also use the code Aidin50 to get 50% off of your order. That means you can get a 1-year personal plan for $54. That is silly. It's obnoxious, frankly. I can't recommend it enough, so use that link for a free trial and make sure to use that code for a laughable discount. It's thanks to sponsors like Epidemic Sound that I can go on these trips making these videos and not go absolutely broke in the process. So thanks again, and let's go see some colorful houses. Almost all of these areas are coastal towns. That's kind of the common thread here. They're right on the water. And for almost all coastal areas, fishing is an important part of their history and economy. And the reasoning is basically that colorful houses and having a colorful shoreline makes it easier for people who are out fishing to find their way back, especially in rainy or foggy conditions. It's a lot easier to find your way back home to a bright red house than a gray or brown one. Here in St. John's, you'll find a lot of the most colorful houses in town on the Battery, which is this little fishing community on the edge of town and right on the water. So that's the most common reason that you'll see for these colorful buildings, but there are actually a ton of completely different reasons that certain places have these colorful houses. In a lot of warmer locations, the colored paint is actually a way to moderate temperature. Like in Mykonos in Greece, the houses were usually built out of these dark stone slabs, which absorbed a lot of sunlight and made the insides of the houses unbearably hot. So they decided to paint them white so that they would reflect the light and not be as hot inside. That's why the coastline of Mykonos has those beautiful white buildings. That's actually pretty common in warmer coastal areas, bright colors being painted over dark materials to keep the insides of the houses cool. Of course, that's not applicable here in Newfoundland because it's cold all day, every day. Sometimes it's nothing more than which materials are the most available, like in Norway and also Newfoundland. Red paint was the cheapest and easiest to produce, so you'll notice a lot of barns and fishing stands are painted red. Farmers and fishermen just didn't have as much money. And you'll actually notice that in Norway, a lot of the wealthier homes are yellow and white, because those colors were also accessible in the region but were a little more expensive to produce. And in a lot of places, including here in Newfoundland, houses were painted using leftover boat paint, which was brightly colored. Fishermen just used the extra paint they had lying around to paint the house, and the look stuck. In the past, house colors have been used to organize and identify buildings. In Greenland, different colors would be used for different types of buildings, like stores were red, hospitals were yellow, police stations were black, fishing stands were blue. And in some parts of Iceland, houses didn't have street numbers, so painting them a bunch of different colors made it a little easier to find which one you're looking for. Now, those original reasons are, for the most part, a thing of the past. Like, most places in Mykonos have air conditioning. Pretty much anyone in Norway who wants a yellow house can afford to get one. And here in St. John's, most people don't fish. But the tradition has stuck around. Partly because they drive tourism, like colorful houses are an absolute Instagram magnet no matter where you go, but also because I guess people just like living in them. As beautiful as it is, Newfoundland is a cold and barren place. There's lots of gloomy weather and not a lot of daylight certain times of year. So stepping outside and seeing some nice colorful houses makes it a little more bearable to live here. Many of our most iconic architectural styles are the product of some historical necessity. It's fascinating to see how geography shapes architecture and how different cultures approach building homes. The structures we live in are a product of what we need to survive, but also how we like to live.